Hello world and welcome to part 2 and the final part of this experiment video story called the Hollywood story with Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland. I guess in this episode we'll be covering 10 years and 15 years into the future, so 2030 and 2035, which they will kind of cover the turning points of their careers, the ending, the winding down of their physicals, the technicals, where they'll start thinking into going to retire to Chelsea. Like I remember, we said they're going to retire. But if you don't remember what happened and what the pretense of the story is, I'm just going to run the intro real quick. Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney have become the owners of Wrexham AFC. Their goal is to create a Hollywood story of rags to riches. But to start their story, they of course must have two main actors. That's right, Mbappe and Haaland have answered the calls of these two gentlemen and were sold on the idea of filming a 15-year-long movie in a small city of Wrexham, Wales. They'll be the center point of all things Welsh, and a team will slowly be built around them as the aim is to win the Premier League before they retire, or potentially the Champions League. Who knows? That's the beauty of a Hollywood story. After the 15 years, they will then move to Chelsea, because why not? But now, let's see how the guys do. So I hope that intro kind of refreshed your memory, and we're ready to start. So 5 years after our last episode, which was when they just managed to get into the championship, they finished 16th. They had quite a good jump. So they managed to get 16th place twice in a row, and then they went in a yo-yo position, I guess. They got championship, then Premier League, then championship, then Premier League. So it's quite nice. You can see that Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland had a huge, impact on the performance of the team, and that's kind of understandable. But the problem is, and why I wanted to see it, is because a lot of experimental videos, they do have a thing where one player is not good enough to carry the full team forward. So there have been experiments with, just having Mbappe by himself carrying the team. And typically this is kind of where it plateaus. They don't make it as far. The team is not really built around them. And I was just kind of wondering what would happen if you have two hot prospects and world-class players. So basically, because they're really both, aren't they? So I wanted to see what would happen. As you can see here, apparently Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland can only get you as far as lower parts of the Champions League, or the Championship, sorry. I was kind of wondering, my own predictions were the fact that maybe they'd win the Premier League, maybe they have a good team built around them. So first things first, let's see what kind of team was built around them. And you can see here, we finally have players, in very, very high values, which is kind of expected for a team, in the top of the Championship and kind of the bottom of the Premier League. You can see a lot of 30, 20 million rated players, which is kind of nice. We'll just take a look at how many goals they've scored. I'm not going to spend too much time, on them specifically. So Kylian Mbappe, he's had quite a good return, as always. He's had a very good season 2 years ago. 27 goals in 45 appearances. That's quite nice. Again, much less player of the matches, which is interesting because he used to be, as you can see, the guy that he does all the stuff. He does all the carrying. He's the assist king. He's the passer. He's the creator. He's everything. He's the goal scorer. But yeah, he's kind of a bit starting to tail off. But in the Premier League, how did he do? Well, not really well, which is surprising. The first Premier League season, 8 goals. Only 8 goals in 38 appearances. But I guess with Mbappe, it is hard because if you will take a look at Wrexham's, tactics, again, they play him on the right, and in this game, for some reason, players on the right do not score as much. Or maybe the manager is not good enough to make sure that he scores as much. But let's jump into Haaland. Maybe Haaland will give us a better story, and you can kind of tell they're not good enough for the Premier League. 13 goals in 38 appearances. Yeah, so for arguably probably the best attacker in the league right now, it wasn't good enough. But again, he's having all the good performances, which to be fair makes sense. He is one of the most important players. He's the best striker. As you can see here, last season as well, when they got promoted, he was the better player. 26 goals, 11 assists, 11 player of the matches. A very, very, very good player. So you can see Wrexham is starting to use, they're starting to use this. They're starting to use those two better. But a big thing that I really wanted to check is how is the manager doing? So if you remember, Dean Keats left, and he's still the manager. So after 5 years, he's still the manager of Everton. And how's Everton doing? Because his stats aren't doing great. And wow, he actually got second place with them this season. I don't believe it. So somehow, even though his stats aren't great, he managed to get quite a good amount out of them. Second place for Everton. No Neymar, because he's probably retired. This is 10 years after? He'll be 38 at this rate. But yeah, I don't understand. How is he... What? With these stats? This is going to be one of those things where the players are in charge. It's got to be. So, Paul Hurst did not stay for long as well, as you can see. He left to manage Cardiff, which is an interesting choice. Because, to be fair, they're in the championship, so I don't know what happened. Why would you want to go with them? Maybe he thought they had more future. But then again, they got relegated to League One, so I don't understand. So the guy that's definitely a better manager went down league, but Dean Keats went up. I don't understand. Let's see Quinton Fortune. Oh, looks quite alright as well. So maybe he's going to be the catalyst. Maybe in 5 years they'll win the Premier League, or win the Champions League. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I don't know how much I was expecting. I was expecting something much more. Maybe not landmarks. Let's just check. Best 11. 243 goals and 481 appearances for Mbappe. It's okay, considering a lot of those times were spent in lower leagues. And for Haaland as well, same thing, kind of one goal every 2 games, which is not the best return. I expected much better. I guess let's just go sim 5 years in. Might as well. Don't make this too long. And then we'll see if they won anything. They won any, Ballon d'Ors or anything. So yeah, let's just quickly take a look. Okay, and here we go. The final simulation 2035. This is going to be their last season with Wrexham. I didn't want to simulate it. I was afraid because, Kylian Mbappe is old. You can see he's got almost no acceleration anymore. What about Haaland? Haaland looks to be in better shape. He managed to keep a better, physicals. Maybe his stamina is going as well. But he's a veteran striker now. He is, I guess, a faster version of Ibra at this rate. He's still big, got a little bit of finishing, heading, all sorts of stuff. But yeah, you can see here, they're probably not going to do much this year. They're not going to score much. But you can see here, Wrexham have become a stable Premier League team. And they managed to get as high as 8th. So that's quite nice. That's quite a good return. So yeah, in 10 years, or in 15 years actually, those 2 best players will guarantee you promotion from the Vanarama National League all the way to the Premier League and as high as 8th. But doesn't guarantee you any silverware. Well, I mean, if we take a look here, I think they've won Sky Bet Championship, which is fair enough. I think only once as well. They got runner-up once as well, 3rd place once. Apart from that, I'm not really seeing anything interesting. FA Trophy, they won it once, the one that I showed you earlier at the start. And apart from that, really nothing. I mean, maybe we can take a look at Erling Haaland and see what he's won. So, milestones, competitions, yeah, they won absolutely nothing. They won promotion, they got runner-up, champions, so they won Sky Bet League 1. And they won Sky Bet Championship. So Haaland and Mbappe could only guarantee you those 2 trophies and nothing else. What about awards? Well, I mean, if you take a look, Norway's seasonal best 11, that's not really nothing special. I support as player of the year 2030 footballer of the year. I mean, I can kind of see that it is kind of hard. Yeah, you can see they're not here. It is kind of hard for them to show how great they are in the lower leagues because no one's going to take them seriously, which is slightly unfortunate. As you can see, we have also a new manager. So let's again go back and see how our managers did. Dean Keats, the legend. He's still at... Why? Why is he at Everton? He's on a huge wage. Why? Can someone explain it to me? I don't understand. They kill me. What? So if Dean Keats would have stayed, confirmed, Wrexham, keep your manager. If he has better... better resources, he will win you the English Premier Division. I don't believe it. No way. That is insane. Milestones. Let's see. Competitions. So what has he done? So, I don't believe this. This is ridiculous. English Premier Championship. Community Shield winners. 3rd round, 4th round, qualified knockout. I don't believe it. This is something insane. Dean Keats is a legend of this club. What about Darlington? No, not Darlington. Why did I click Darlington? Paul Hurst. What about this guy? He has retired. Awesome. Quinton Fortune. What happened to him? Oh, I didn't check actually what happened to him. He got sacked. He's the only manager in the history of, last 15 years that got sacked. After 6 years. Come on, 6 years in charge. And 1 league win. That's kind of, not as good as Dean Keats, but still. And finally, I guess the most recent manager is Nicholas Jover. Who is he? Yeah, he's looking decent as well. He's a good motivator, good working with technicals. So, again, I don't know how many years I have to simulate to see Wrexham win anything. But apparently the big takeover and the 2 big guns was not enough. It's quite unfortunate, really. Let's see if they've become legends at this. I kind of want to see if they had legends. Mbappe and Haaland are icons. Okay, that's fair enough. What about Dean Keats? No, Dean Keats isn't. Okay, so... Wow, I'm surprised. Not legends, because I assume it's got something to do with the fact they didn't win anything. quite unfortunate. So yeah, I'm pretty sure they're very close to retiring anyways. Like once they go to Chelsea, I think this will be them done. Let's just see how their goal return was in their careers. Yeah, you can see it starts to drop off. They both start to drop off. I think for Mbappe, it is harder because once his legs go, I think it is harder for him. His dribbling is not the best, but his finishing is still good. So again, not the best, not the worst, I don't think. Maybe if you play him as an advanced playmaker, he'll be kind of alright. Or maybe an Enganche, those good old days, when you had Heskey playing at Enganche. What about Haaland? I don't know. At this rate, yeah, okay. So he's not a Premier League striker. I guess at the age of 31 to age of 35, he's not a Premier League level striker. 13 goals in 38 appearances, the most recent one. And also, no, it's not the highest. The highest was 14. Yeah, so they had decent careers. They had alright careers. I think both of them started to play. As you can see here, Mbappe finally started playing for the national team. Almost doubled since he started, which to be fair is scary to think what he's going to be on. And Haaland never stopped really. 138 caps for Norway. He was definitely going to become a legend in real life and for Wrexham. But yeah, let's just check their teams. Let's see how they look. And they look, I want to say quite the same. They have this guy, whoever this guy is, 17 caps for Brazil. Wow. So it looks like a good, a very good, so deep line playmaker. A very good playmaker. Wow. But yeah, it's this kind of stuff. It's this kind, signed for 51 million. Wow, Wrexham. That's incredible, the impact those two guys had. But, this is to be fair, this was actually a good test. I wanted to see what happens. And I think at some point I'm going to maybe do something similar and see maybe if I put 3 players this time. If I put Mbappe, Haaland, and Fati maybe. Or maybe someone like that. Maybe, how many players it will actually take for Wrexham to win the Premier League in 15 years. Or maybe I could just restart it, redo it again, see maybe if in a different parallel universe they could do better. But the thing that you need to know right now is Wrexham, the most important player in this is Dean Keats. I don't understand. If you can see this, tell me, what is he? What is he? I don't understand. How did he manage to win with Everton? Insane. And Continental A license. He hasn't done his licenses yet. Incredible. But yeah, let's just finally have a run through. Let's go through the best 11. Erling Haaland leaves with 349 goals in 640 games, which is not a bad return. And Mbappe leaves with 313 with 691 games. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm a bit disappointed. I expected more. I expected, not gonna lie, a little bit more than what they did in the end. But, this is the nature, I guess, of just having those 2 players and relying on them. And they didn't start building around them until, I guess, really championship days, which is expected. I mean, to be fair, maybe if you start them in maybe a higher league, just a little bit higher, and they'll help you get promoted really quickly. But at this rate, they started with bad players, and they just could not afford to improve. But anyways, if you like stuff like this, tell me. I would like to do more experiments. I would like to do more random experiments like this because it's fun. It's fun to mess around with the database, and it's fun to kind of just see all these crazy scenarios. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, I guess, Hollywood story. And by the way, you want to know how many times I've said Halloween instead of Hollywood? It's just insane. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I hope kind of this was somewhat interesting. And yeah, if you have more examples of what I should do, leave it in the comments. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of something. Bye, guys.